Okay, ladies, my name is Shawley. I'm from East Carolina University. I've been interning here since August, and as part of my MLS, I have to create an in-service initiative. What I chose, being a high school teacher, I've been teaching high school for the past 5 years, I chose to work in close conjunction with the early college and the early college principal and English teachers to promote self-efficacy in their library users, because they are a younger generation on a college campus. Some goals of this initiative: I had to synthesize the survey data. So I administered a survey to approximately 60 of their students regarding their library use. I then have to communicate this data to the library stakeholders, which is all of you. I have assembled the data into manageable, user-friendly changes to the technical library offerings, and I've put those on an outside site, which I created myself. And through the source, hopefully the students will be able to self-advocate during the research process, which increases their self-efficacy and encourages metacognitive thinking. So they are then going to think about the research process a bit more often than they would now. Some ALA competencies that this fits into. Competency 1I. So a person graduating from an ALA accredited master's program in library and information studies should know, and where appropriate, be able to employ, according to the ALA, a set of competencies. This in-service initiative used a survey, which employed the use of a Likert scale as well as 2 open-ended questions to gather data regarding their research needs. And as I went through that data, I then was able to compile it into the pie charts, which are on your handouts, and we'll be looking at here in a minute, and able to come up with something that works for everybody in this case. Competency 4A, so related technologies have been developed in communication with the stakeholders, and not only were those stakeholders here in the library, but they were also over at the early college. I communicated very closely with the early college principal. 4B, all information gathered from related surveys, reference interviews from the students, and data was established in accordance with appropriate service norms and applications via the library website. And you'll be seeing those a little bit later. I have several tutorials using the JCC website where the students can go read the tutorial, and it walks them through using the JCC library website step by step. 4D, as the academic library involves, librarians are called upon to identify techniques of instruction. So more and more librarians are called upon to be teachers. 5B, in addition to reference interviews, a survey and other means of data mining were employed to gather data from diverse individuals. So these students come from all over Johnston County. They're not just here in Smithfield. They're not just up the road in Clayton. They are a diverse population. We want something that fits for everybody. 5E, instructional principles were used in this initiative. Being an English teacher, I went through a lot of the Common Core standards and tried to tailor what I was doing to fit those standards, as these are 9th grade students. 6C, there is limited research regarding the specifics in this population. Not every community college has an early college academy. So in terms of research, I was a bit more limited, so the research I've conducted here is more introductory. I'm hoping it has the potential to develop into a new ongoing research initiative. 7C, as stated earlier, instructional methods are ever-changing because the library is ever-changing. So this places a huge importance on the instructor's ability to implement those methods. So research librarians and instructional librarians, like I said earlier, do have to take the role on as teacher often. 8C, librarians cannot solely rely on implementing assessment and evaluation techniques. Their concepts must be truly understood. We can't just give a survey and expect that what we get back from that survey, pull a few things, okay, I'm going to focus on this, this, and this. We need to look at the data as a whole and not disregard anything. Summary and reflection. So as with anything, people always ask why. Why, especially students of that age. They always ask why. So the rationale for this in-service initiative is as follows. While there was a lack of professional literature, I was able to find fewer than 3 pieces Mentioning library use by early college students, there's not a whole lot out there, and again, I think it reflects the diverse population and special population that we have here. The survey I used, the link is right there. I used a Likert scale, open-ended, and short answer questions, and I adapted the survey to the uniqueness of the sample, so I had to scale it down to a 9th grade level. I also consulted with the early college principal and their English teachers, and I also consulted with library staff and library administrator in order to determine the best way to go about this initiative. Some literature and data on self-efficacy in writing and citing. So students, I know everything sounds super fancy, the basics. Students have a high level of library anxiety. Unless they are born with a gift of writing, they have a lot of anxiety and they don't think that they're doing a good job, even though they might be doing a good job. And unfortunately with my job, I see that every day. So this initiative hopefully will go to boost that confidence level also. Rationale, our current library site here, there are a few videos and they're particularly MLA based. The more and more I see students come in, they're using APA. They're using Chicago. I had a student the other night who asked me to proofread her citations and she was using Chicago. She had no idea how to do Chicago other than the 2 handouts that her professor had given her. We want to make sure that we're giving them more than that. I do, like I said earlier, have high school teaching experience and college tutoring experience. Students lack easy to interpret resources. When they're given a resource, someone says, oh, use the Purdue OWL. You go to the Purdue OWL, it's very, very overwhelming. They don't know where to go from there. It's what do I click? There are 16 things on the left-hand side. They don't know what they're looking for. Students haven't been taught justification for citing their sources. We say, make sure you cite your sources. They're never taught why. Oh, it's so you don't plagiarize. Well, what's plagiarism? Why am I concerned about it? Why can't I just copy a bunch of things out of a book and cite them and that makes my paper okay? It doesn't. Minute changes. So anytime MLA or APA makes a change, students often overlook those. Again, not pointing the finger at instructors, but a lot of instructors are very set in their ways how they like their citations done, and theirs aren't always up to date also. Young students in particular need this instruction very, very early. Students now are using electronic resources much earlier in their academic careers. I have a friend that I teach with, her 5th grade daughter is writing a research paper in English class right now. Again, scaling things down to their level because they are in the big bad world of college here. Review of the data, and this is what is on your handout sheets if you would like to follow along. When asking our students about customer service, as you can see, the majority said customer service here was excellent. There were a lot of open-ended comments about the, quote, very nice ladies at the circulation desk who will help you with whatever you need. So that was very, very welcoming and warming to see. As you'll notice, there is no green on that pie chart. Nobody said that the library customer service here was poor. The collection. It was a little bit all over the board here. Some students didn't know because they had never been in here other than taking a brief instruction class. For the most part, they said it was excellent and they said it was fair. There were a few comments about them wanting more new releases. And again, that takes on a whole other animal of budget and other concerns as far as that goes. So that's not something that I could address right away in this initiative. But again, looking to turn this into something a little bit bigger, we have the data if we need it. Programs. We do have the new laser lab here. So I am going to surmise that that's why almost 41% say that it is excellent. We have labs, we have study rooms. An overwhelming majority of students said they come in here in particular to use the study rooms. Online services. They said the website, the catalog, the databases, everything was excellent. And as you'll see a little bit later in some of my videos, I walk them through using those databases. So hopefully very soon we can get this up to 80, even 100%. Interlibrary loan. This is what I found very, very interesting. Almost 80% of them don't know that we have a library and interlibrary loan program. In particular, I have only come across one student since I've been here working on and off since June that has ever used interlibrary loan. I think it's something in the future that I would like to take on and make that a bigger part of what we do, because they're saying they want more new releases. Maybe looking at interlibrary loan or educating them on interlibrary loan would be a better way to go about that. And there is a video tutorial on using interlibrary loan also. Library policies, and we've talked about these over and over again. Most of them say they're excellent, some say they're fair, and we drop down to about 22.7% say it's good. Small sliver there say that they're poor, and the rest mostly come in, use the study rooms, and leave. One of the biggest pieces of feedback that we received were they want to be able to bring in water or water bottles. And again, that is something that is generally out of our hands. Computers and printing. More than half said that the computers and printing services are excellent. I know that in the time that I've been here, we have gotten new printers, so I'm hoping that that equates for some of what we're seeing here. Nobody said that the computers and printing services were poor. We do have plenty of printers, we do have plenty of computers. Students know how to add money to their account. They know to come to the desk if it's a problem, and we're always here to help them if something jams, printer needs ink, printer needs paper, etc., etc. Internet accessibility, straight 50% right across the board said it was excellent. In the time that I've been here, I haven't known us to have a serious number of internet issues. All of the computers run pretty well, in my opinion. Facilities, again, 50% said the facilities were excellent. One piece of feedback that I did not expect to get from these students was that they love the green atmosphere in here. They love how what they deem as eco-friendly it is. I'm assuming that means with all the windows out front, but the way that the new building was built, I believe in 2011. Library hours, this was another one that was all over the board. And to make clear to them that the library can't run 24/7 like it can at a huge university. Where I went to school, the library was only open until midnight. I did go to a big university, but a lot of universities are going to that 24-hour schedule, and we just don't have that here, especially if you're an early college student. You have probably more than enough capabilities to be able to get that done at home, but extending the library hours, maybe an extra hour in the morning or an extra hour in the evening, were a few of the suggestions that were given. Overall, I asked them how they would rate the library. 50% said fair, almost 39% said excellent, the rest said good, and nobody said poor. So overall, our library is an excellent to fair standing, which is absolutely wonderful to hear. Technological additions, I asked them what they thought would be a valuable addition to the library webpage. As you can see, a little bit all over the board here. The majority said they wanted tips and tricks. And you'll see a little bit later where these tips and tricks come into play. Some of them said research tutorials. We've done some of those. 9.5% said LibGuides, and that might be a little bit of the wording on my part. I'm not sure if I thoroughly explained to them what a LibGuide was, but looking at previous data, they haven't been used all that often in the past. And 19% said research tutorials, and 16.7% said updated access points. And again, these are 9th graders. I don't want to have to log in with my JCC username and password every time I want to use something at home. That's just a fact of life. I'm a graduate student, and when I'm off campus, I need to log in to get to join our library. So that's something that we couldn't address this time around, but maybe in the future. Website usage occurrence. So traffic on our website. Majority said they use it at least once a week or 1 to 2 times a week. So they are using it pretty frequently for research. Some of them said 3 times a day, so I'm not sure if they confuse that with being able to log in to get to their email, or I know I see a lot of our early college students in here once or twice a day at least. So That might be pretty accurate. The one thing that concerned me was the percentage of the pie there that said never. So I'm hoping with this initiative we can get that never completely wiped off the board. Service rankings, what library service is most important to you? Again, like I said earlier, they like the study rooms, quiet study area. The study rooms here are so popular. The other majority said printing and photocopiers, and that connects with the data from a little bit earlier. They do appreciate the librarians' help with assignments, and the other sliver of the pie there said research. So again, a little bit all over the board here, but since we got an overall excellent or fair rating, I would say that this reflects that accurately, that we are in good standing with our early college students. What they value the most? The resources. I was so shocked that in this technological era, the students said that they valued being able to come in here and check out books, which was shocking. I see some shocked faces. They love being able to come in here and check out books, they love the environment, and they love the staff. And those are our top three majorities. So again, I think that contributes back to the excellent and fair rating that they gave us earlier. Suggested improvements, like I said earlier, more new releases which might be able to be remedied with interlibrary loan. A lot of them said it's fine the way it is. I like the library the way it is, which is wonderful to hear because that means that in their eyes you couldn't be doing anything any better. Longer hours was another majority, and we discussed that. Policy changes, I have water there in parentheses because that was the biggest policy change. Requested guides. So I asked them, what can I do to help you? What can I do to promote your self-efficacy as a researcher? Creating works cited pages. They say it changes so often I can't keep up with it all. The other majority teetered between locating resources in person. They have been taught Dewey Decimal System from the time they were this high, and they have no understanding of Library of Congress. So what I did put together a Library of Congress tutorial along with a map of how things are structured in here. And they can come in, use the map. Now they know Library of Congress, they'll be able to locate those books that they say they value so much. Response and solutions. I talked a little bit about those as we went through our data. Initiatives would be taken to address the changeable requests. So things that I felt could be changed, I went through and gave them what they wanted or what they needed in terms of, I can't change the policy for you to be able to bring water in here, but I can give you a tutorial on how to create an APA works cited page. I've shared the data with the library stakeholders to address policy concerns. I've created online screencast tutorials, guides, maps, and other electronic resources developed and hosted on my website that I've created for student use. And the tutorials that have been created, so works cited page creation, how to really use this beast that we call the Purdue OWL, using Library of Congress to locate print resources in the library, using interlibrary loan, searching for resources in databases, and using in-text citations to avoid that P word that we all know is plagiarism that is taught to students but not really understood. Solution, a teenager-friendly site. What do I mean by teenager-friendly? There's a new, I don't want to call it an initiative, but there's something new out called life hacks. And previously, the term hack had a negative connotation. In the way the kids are using it these days in modern slang, a life hack makes your life easier. So there are shows now called Hack My Life. There's internet postings called life hacks. If you go to Google and type in life hacks, you're going to get, first thing that comes up is 100 life hacks to make your life easier. I honored all of their requests and then some. There is a form on the homepage of this website where they can submit. It comes directly to me. I can go in if something isn't working, I can go in and change it. It also gives me the potential to resurvey them now that I've established that rapport with the early college principal and English teachers. And if it's simple enough to work for the teenagers, why isn't it Why can't it work for anybody else who's struggling? If we've simplified it down to being able to work for a ninth grader, maybe someone who's been out of school for a while, who has no idea what the Purdue OWL is or how to use APA, why can't they go in and use those also? Presenting, Hack My Research. We're just talking about the internet speed here. How ironic. Technological difficulties.
Is it up?
It is, it's blinking.
Okay.
There we go. Perfect. Presenting a website, Hack My Research. Tools, tips, and tricks, again, just like they asked, for research success. And again, this is a research-driven initiative by JCC in partner with East Carolina University. I am your editor. I'm currently an MLS graduate student. Let's take a look around here and see just what we have to solve these issues. So on our first page here, a few things regarding publication manuals. The suggestion box, like I just mentioned. So it says, tell us what you want to see next. They can put their name, the email, and the subject in there, and they can send a brief message. It comes to my email, they say, hey, this link isn't working, or you created this guide, or this video isn't working. I can go in and troubleshoot it for them and get back to them. This also helps me generate data to make this site better. Scrolling through here on the right-hand side, there's a useful links page. Clicking the Go button will take you directly to Purdue University's online writing lab, affectionately known as the OWL. Clicking Go here will take you to the NC State Citation Builder and the UNC Chapel Hill Citation Builder, which are all updated. And if you ever want to go back to the JCC library page to continue your research, there's a button right there. Very convenient. Scrolling back up, some tips on proofreading. That's the English teacher in me coming out. Paper due and can't think of a topic. A lot of students suffer from writer's block. Again, this is unfortunately one of the things I see every day. There is a link here. It will take students to Ellen Blaher's PDF that she has created. And not only does it give them some ideas for topics, it also gives them, if they're writing a compare-contrast essay, they also have the other side of things, so it helps them to kind of pick a side. So this is very, very complete. This is something that I use in the classroom on a regular basis if my students are struggling. So this is just one more resource that is available to them. So when I said I gave them what they asked for and then some, this is part of the and then some. There's a slideshow here that is actually my personal slideshow I've created regarding thesis writing, how to write a strong thesis. Good rule of thumb, 3 to 4 points that prove your thesis, and it walks them through step by step. A little bit of information there on what is a hack. If you click the Life Hacks button, it will take you directly to, as I mentioned earlier, those 100 life hacks. Again, just to get you a little bit familiar with what exactly are we hacking. If you click on this frustrated paper writer, it will take you to a list of do's and don'ts of research paper writing. And again, these are my own created resources that I have used with my students on a regular basis. I talked about giving them maps and talking about Library of Congress. If you click here, it will take you directly to a library map that we actually already have here in the library. So it takes you directly there. There are some resources for Library of Congress because at this point they're probably thinking, just what is Library of Congress? There's the main page. There's kind of the lobby area. If they're struggling with looking through all these databases, they can kind of go there and it'll give them a fresh start. And subject headings. So this site is the one featured in one of the video tutorials. It gives a simple walkthrough on how LC call numbers build on each other and how they work together to give the exact location on the shelf. And again, if they're confused, they say our customer service here is excellent, so they know that they can always come to the circulation desk for assistance. The research, which is what we just went through. Clicking in here will take you back to the research and the rationale for this website. So why we do what we do. And I'd like to give a special thanks to Mr. Clint Eves, who's principal of the early college, for his help in collecting data for this research. We also have a blog. Again, like I said, there's that and then some. So who we are and what we do. So it's a little bit about me, my credentials, just to kind of put a friendly face to this so it doesn't feel like they're talking to a robot. And then as things come through on that suggestion form, I can go ahead and blog about them. Hey, I put up a new tutorial on using Chicago citations. All that information runs right over here, and then they can even go through and search by tags to see if I've put something up recently. The biggest part of this are the video tutorials. These are all created by myself. They are all hosted by YouTube. We have one on database searching, particularly using NC Live because it is one of my favorite resources that I think our early college students would get a lot out of. Creating APA citations, navigating the library, how to use interlibrary loan, and creating MLA citations. And we are going to watch one of these very briefly. So this is
Brittany Shawley here again, using JCC's website to teach you a little bit about using the Library of Congress classification system, which is used in all academic libraries. Now, in elementary, middle, and high school, we became very acclimated to using what we affectionately know as the Dewey Decimal System. We get trained in that, we get it under our belts, we know how to use it, and we go off to bigger and better things into the college world where we have to use academic libraries for research, and there's a whole new system called Library of Congress. Today I'm going to show you a little bit about how to navigate not only Library of Congress, but the JCC library, as that is what many of you have asked for recently. As you can see, I'm back on the library homepage. This is kind of your dashboard for everything library. There is a virtual library tour here. It is a YouTube video, and it's very short. You can click play, it's embedded right on the page. And it goes through, it takes about 2 to 3 minutes to show you around the library, talk to you about printing costs, where books are located, and things like that. For your convenience, I've also posted a JCC library map to this library hacks page, just in case you need that for navigation purposes also. So first things first is understanding Library of Congress. It is actually pretty simple. It's not as scary as it sounds. Library of Congress, everything starts with a subject heading. And this is straight from the Library of Congress website. And it walks you through A through Z, through all of the different subject headings. And what that means is books are no longer alphabetical, but grouped by topic. So if I am doing a lot of research on the country of England, all of those books are going to be in one place. If I'm doing research on giraffes, all the books on giraffes are all going to be in one place. All of the study aids for taking maybe a GRE or an MAT or even the SAT, all of those are going to be in one place. So it really makes a bit more sense in this case. Now on to